All right, let's dive in. Today, we're going to try something a little different. We're going on a treasure hunt inside one of those documents that, let's be honest, is designed to be almost impossible to read, a 200-page corporate filing. The company's called Critical Metals Corp, and our mission is to slice through all the legalese and find the real story hiding inside. So, you see these massive documents, right? Hundreds of pages of dense text. What's actually in there? Is it all just boring jargon, or is there a real, compelling story buried underneath? Well, we're going to find out. We're going to peel this thing back like an onion, layer by layer, to uncover the company's big pitch, its actual assets, and of course, all the juicy risks they have to tell you about. So here's our game plan. We'll start with the shiny public-facing story, the pitch. Then we'll look at the hard assets that are supposed to back it all up. After that, we'll dig into how the company was actually put together, which is a story in itself. Then comes the important part, the risks. And finally, we'll weigh the incredible promise against the very real peril. Okay, first up, the pitch. Every company has a simple story they tell the world to explain why they matter. And for Critical Metals, it's a story that's incredibly relevant right now. It's all about geopolitics and the raw materials that power our future. This quote, pulled straight from their filing, gets right to the heart of it. They're not messing around. Their entire mission is to build a supply chain for these super important minerals that has nothing to do with China. In a world where everyone is worried about supply chain security, that is one heck of a powerful pitch. So a great pitch is one thing, but you gotta have the goods to back it up. So what does Critical Metals actually own that makes this grand vision possible? Let's take a look. The whole company really revolves around two crown jewel projects. You've got the Wolfsburg project in Austria, which is all about lithium, the stuff that's absolutely essential for every electric car battery. And then you have the Tambries project way up in Greenland, and that one is focused on rare earth elements, the secret sauce in everything from our iPhones to advanced missile systems. And when we look closer at the Tambries project in Greenland, this thing is an absolute monster. We're talking about an estimated 4.7 billion tons of mineral resource. And not just any rare earths, it's rich in the really valuable heavy rare earths. But here's the real magic trick. It has extremely low levels of the radioactive stuff, uranium and thorium. That is a game changer, because that radioactive is the regulatory nightmare that kills so many other rare earth projects. And over in Austria, the Wolfsburg lithium project is just as impressive in its own way. They've already done the big feasibility study, but here's the kicker. They've locked in a major offtake agreement with BMW. Yeah, that BMW. They have a deal to supply battery-grade lithium to one of the biggest car makers on the planet. This isn't just a plan on paper, it's a real partnership. And they're even planning to build a processing plant in Saudi Arabia. Okay, so we've got a powerful mission and what look like world-class assets. So the next logical question is, how did this whole company come to be? Well, the answer involves a very popular and sometimes pretty controversial bit of financial engineering. Critical Metals got onto the stock market using a SPAC. Now, for anyone who's not deep in the financial weeds, a SPAC is basically a blank check company. It's a shell that raises a ton of money from investors, lists on a stock exchange, and its only job is to then go out and find a real private company to merge with. It's basically a shortcut to going public. And here's the corporate dance that made it happen. First, a company called European Lithium sold its Austrian assets to our company, Critical Metals. Step one. Then, Critical Metals turned around and merged with the SPAC, which had the amazing name Sizzle Acquisition Corp. Step two. And boom, the music stops, and in February 2024, Critical Metals is a publicly traded company on the NASDAQ. A pretty complicated shuffle, right? And here is one more little detail from that whole process. It might seem like boring legal stuff, but trust me, it's about to become really, really important. The company is officially incorporated in the British Virgin Islands, and because of that, it's classified as a foreign private issuer. Just tuck that little fact away for a second. All right, now for my favorite part of any corporate filing, the section that everyone should read, but almost nobody does. The risk factors. This is where the company is legally required to tell you everything, and I mean everything, that could possibly go wrong. Let's get into it. So first, you got to understand this key term, a controlled company. It's pretty much exactly what it sounds like. It's a public company where one single person or group owns more than 50% of the voting power. That means they control the big decisions, like who gets to be on the board of directors.
And wouldn't you know it, as you can see right here in this chart from the filing, Critical Metals is a textbook controlled company. That first bar, European Lithium Limited, the company that sold them the Austrian assets in the first place, holds almost 59% of the shares. That means what they say goes, period.
So why does that matter? Well, the filing tells you exactly why, right here in black and white. Because they are a controlled company and a foreign private issuer, Critical Metals gets a pass on some of the normal NASDAQ corporate governance rules. And the bottom line for other shareholders is that you simply do not have the same protections you'd expect for most other companies listed on a US stock exchange.
But wait, there's more. The disclosures get even more specific. The company itself, along with its auditors, pointed out 6 significant deficiencies in their internal controls. And look at this list. This isn't small stuff. We're talking about fundamental things like basic accounting, cybersecurity, and this one's a biggie, how they handle transactions with related parties. Insiders. That's a huge potential red flag for conflicts of interest. On top of all that, the filing includes this jaw-droppingly honest admission. The company's own management says they have limited experience running a public company in the United States. They're basically telling you, right there in the document, that they're on a very steep learning curve when it comes to following all the complex rules. And finally, after all that, we get to the actual financial bottom line. For all the talk of valuable minerals in the ground and a big deal with BMW, how much revenue is the company making today? A big fat 0. Nothing. They're still in the development stage, which means right now they're only spending money, not making any. Okay, let's just step back for a second. We've seen the incredibly powerful story and the world-class assets. And we've also seen the complex corporate structure and some pretty significant risks. So let's put all the pieces together and look at the big picture. And this is really the fundamental tension at the heart of the company. On one side, you have the promise, these amazing strategic assets, a mission that is geopolitically critical, and a huge partnership with BMW already in the bag. But on the other side, you have the peril. 0 revenue, serious governance risks because it's a controlled company, a list of 6 internal weaknesses that they admit to, and a complex origin story through a SPAC. And that really leaves us with the ultimate question, doesn't it? It's one thing to have billions of dollars of treasure locked in the ground. It's another thing entirely to dig it up, process it, and turn it into a profitable business. For Critical Metals, and really any company in their position, the real challenge is bridging that enormous gap between the geological promise and the financial reality. How they manage to navigate all these operational and governance hurdles, well, that's what will determine if they can actually deliver on their incredible mission.